She sits on her bed, knees up, palm open. A button rests there, sticky with blood. She does not scream. She listens. The house breathes with her, slow and wrong. The room smells like iron and soap. The door latch clicks. Whose blood? She asks the room. A floorboard answers with a small sigh. She stares at the metal. Mine. Maybe. Her throat feels raw. She slides the button across her palm to see if it bites. A prickle climbs her lifeline. You cut yourself? The voice is her own, but older, her mother's shape in it. No, it cut me. She closes her fingers. Heat builds, small as a match head. The button? The man who wore it. She hears how flat that sounds. The shank holds a thread stiff with dirt. She thinks of coats. She thinks of a chest pressed to hers, rough wool at her jaw, a smell of smoke. She thinks of the night she sealed away. The seal leaks. She sets the button on the sheet and watches a ring of red spread through faded flowers. She hates that her mind calls it a badge without its face. Come on then, she whispers. Show yourself. The air gives back a damp breath. The icebox hums. The bathroom tap ticks. A dog down the road barks like it is counting. Her grief wakes like a hard animal and paces her ribs. The quiet holds tight. The latch hangs straight again, innocent as a finger. She pockets the button and steps to the doorway. Stops. She does not want to see the hall empty. She wants a shape, a body to hang this on. Her knees tremble. She hears her mother in the soap room saying, "Keep your hands steady, girl. Soft hands lie." She wipes blood on her skirt. "Ruth," a voice says, easy as a neighbor. She freezes. "Who's there?" "You know." "I don't." "Open up." She looks at the window, full of her own outline. "If you're here, come in." Silence settles. She steps into the hall anyway, one foot, then the other. The house feels full, like a closet with a person in it. She goes back to the bed because the bed has corners she can hold. She sets the button on the pillow. "Talk plain. What do you want?" The air shifts like someone sits beside her. "You know." "I don't." "Say it." "I won't." She hates the girl she used to be. She reaches for the button. The bite finds her again. Not pain, but claim. "You sure it's yours?" the old her asks. "It found me." Things don't find. Someone sends them. Who? You already named him. She stands fast. No. Yes. Don't put that in this room. This is where he put it. She presses her hands to her legs until the tremble stops. She thinks of the station, the church basement, anywhere a woman can lay a story down where other women will touch it and stitch it. She thinks of the sheriff, hat on his knee, sugar voice, folding her into a shape that fit his board. She bent. She did not fit. The latch ticks again. She takes the button. It gleams like a small moon. She imagines the coat it left, the chest it covered. She imagines putting the button back on and cutting it free again until the wool gives and the man bleeds his own circle into cloth. She grips harder. The edge bites deeper. She wants it to. "Whose blood?" she says again. "Yours," the old her says. "For now." She nods. Not for long. The house listens. The boards lift as if to breathe. The window fogs with her exhale, though the glass is cold. The mirror on the wall shows a pale face set firm, made by two people taking turns. She speaks to the man who wore the button. "Come fetch it." Nothing moves, but the heat in her palm eases, and the silence takes a shape. It points like a needle. Down the hall, down the step, into the dark part of the house where the soap smell never fades. She sees her mother's hands working the paddle, steady, steady, and hears truth is a lie burn that heals clean. The dog stops. The icebox hum steadies. The tap drip ends. The house holds a breath and gives it back. A soft knock taps the front door. She does not move. Who is it? Silence. Say your name. The tap comes again, slower. She steps to the edge of the rug and stops. If you want it, ask. The knob turns a quarter and gives up. Terror climbs her skin like old ivy. Not tonight, she says. Not ever again. The house cools. She breathes, and the room breathes back. I'm not afraid, she says, and hears the lie turn into a promise. The boards hold. The night waits at the door and does not cross. We stay in the room as she stands, the button pressed to her throat like a coin sealing a vow. She moves straight from the bedroom, bare feet on cold boards, hand clutched tight around the button. The hall runs narrow, every frame crooked, shadows bending with her. The front room glows faint from the oil lamp on the table. He's already there, seated like he owns the air, hat on his knee, boots planted wide. Sheriff Huntley. He looks up slow, eyes calm as a pond no one dares fish. "Evenin', Ruth." Her jaw locks. "Don't call me that. You've grown some bark since I last sat here." He rubs the brim of his hat. "Folks say you found something." She stays by the wall. "Folks say lots." Don't they, though? His smile is easy, never warm. Best to clear smoke before it burns a field. "House is mine. I'll keep my own fire." His eyes flick to her hand, closed, white-knuckled. "Give it here." Her throat closes, but she makes it sharp. "Make me." The room waits. The lamp pops, wick burning low. "You think you're strong," he says. "I don't think. You forget who steadied your mama when your daddy laid cold, who kept this place quiet when tongues wanted to wag." "You mean who buried it?" He shifts, puts the hat on the table, flat palm on top. "That's talk you don't want, girl." She takes a step closer, not far. "I'm not a girl. You're not near enough a woman either." Her eyes stay on his. "You don't get to measure that." The sheriff leans back, the chair creaking under him. He studies her. "It ain't worth much. Just a trinket. I'll put it where it belongs. Folks forget. Life moves." Her fist trembles. "That's what you're good at. Making folks forget." He sighs heavy, as if she's stubborn cattle. "Ruth, stop saying it. You were named for peace. I was named by her, not you." He nods slow, like a sermon winding down. "Then do her memory kind. Hand it over. Let me keep you from trouble." She laughs once short. "You are the trouble." The sheriff stands. His height fills the frame of the room. Boots scrape soft. His hand stays loose by his side, the way men rest near a holster, though he's not carrying one tonight. "You don't know what you're holding." She raises her fist. "I know it bleeds." His jaw ticks. "And what'll you do with it? March it through town? Nail it to the church door? You think folks will listen? They'll see. They'll see a girl chasing ghosts, a daughter too broken to let the dead lie." Her breath shakes, but she bites it down. "If they're dead, it's 'cause you kept them that way." The sheriff's eyes go hard. "Careful. Make me careful." They stand locked. Only the lamp hums, flame bending against the draft under the door. He breaks first, tilting his head. "I don't want you carried out in shame." "You already tried that once." He steps closer. The floor groans under his weight. "Give it." She steps back, grip tightening until her nails press crescent moons in her palm. The button presses deeper, drawing a bead of blood that runs hot across her wrist. She doesn't flinch. "I'll burn this house before I give it," she says. He studies her hand, her eyes. A flicker of something. Anger, respect, maybe fear, passes quick and vanishes. He lifts his hat slow, settles it back on his head. "Your mama knew when to hold her tongue." "She taught me when not to." He shakes his head. "You sound like a fool." She moves toward the door. He shifts to block, but she slides her shoulder against the frame, keeping her body between his arm and the table. "You can't walk out with that," he warns. "Watch me." His voice drops low, sharp as barbed wire. "Don't set yourself against me, girl. You'll lose." She stares at him, blood dripping now from her fist onto the boards. "I've already lost." The words hang, solid as stone. He doesn't move. Neither does she. The button digs deeper. She feels the sharp ridge cutting into the skin of her palm. The sting steadies her, gives her ground. The sheriff leans back just enough to let her slip. This ain't the end of it. She pushes past him, the scent of dust and tobacco trailing off his coat. Her blood dots the floorboards like seeds. The night air meets her face as she opens the door, the cool damp carrying the weight of every step. Behind her, the sheriff stands in the lamplight, a shadow carved wide across the wall. She presses the button to her throat, holding it like a coin sealing a vow. And then she steps out into the dark. She crosses the yard with the button at her throat, a small hard star under her fingers. The shed waits where it always did. Tin roof, stubborn door. She shoulders it open. The smell comes first. Old ash, animal fat. Soap that never stopped curing. She finds the string for the bulb and does not pull it. Moonlight through the slats lays thin ladders on the floor. The black pot sits in its corner, soot glazed, crusted where the paddle knocked it. Everything is quiet except the click of the button when she breathes. "You kept this place." The voice is not his. It is the house voice that follows her. "I keep what cleans." Her mother stood here, scarred wrists, slow, steady turns that made the lie hush. She moves to the work table, wood gone gray and smooth from years of heat and spill. Her free hand drifts and stops at a gouge near the edge. It is the size of the button. What's that smell? Boiled bones and truth. She presses the button to the gouge. It sits like it belongs, neat as a coin in a slot. Heat climbs her arms. A coat. A badge without its face. A man who leaned too close and called her Ruth until the name cracked. "You talk like your mama." "Then listen better." The bulb swings when she brushes it. It lights a little and dies. She knows every nail head and chip. She hears the creak and the slow roll of the road. She sets the button on the gouge and lifts her hand. It clings a second, then falls flat. She hates that she flinched. "Do not spook," she tells herself. "Not here." She finds the paddle by feel. The handle is worn to a shine where a hand made a groove. She slides her grip into the groove. The pot smells like storms. She leans in and sees her face in the shallow gleam, then turns back to the table. The shed keeps its silence like a judge. Her cut hand throbs. The slice is clean. The edge of the button did that. She squeezes once. Blood beads. Then slicks her palm. She rubs it into the wood the way her mother oiled tools. It looks wrong, but feels right. "Talk to me," she says. "Tell me what you want." The house voice goes quiet. Another voice answers, careful, a man's. "It was an accident." "No. You think you see more than is there." "I see enough." "You do not know the cost of what you start." "I am the cost." She steps back, and a board clicks like a nail, remembering how to complain. She returns to the gouge. She sets the button again, turns it slow with her thumb as if threading a story into a hole. It scrapes. She hears the grit. She hears her mother humming that work hum that kept time with the pot. "What did she stir in here?" the man asks. "Soap." "Nothing more." She stirred what men did and made it hold still. Do not make a sermon out of ash. Do not make a hole out of a grave. Warm breath near her cheek, like someone leaning in. She lifts her chin. She will not back away. She touches the button, and then the gouge, and then the paddle groove. She makes a triangle with her hands and stands inside it. She thinks of the sheriff in her front room, hat on his knee, speaking soft like a man laying a blanket over a body. He wanted the button the way a man wants a tooth pulled before it names him. He would have put it in a drawer. He would have lost the drawer. "Why keep the shed?" the man says. "You could have torn it down." "I keep what cleans." "Does it clean you?" "It will." "From what?" "From the name you put on me." "You liked it then." "No." "You stayed quiet." "Because quiet is sometimes a blade." She takes a breath that tastes like tallow and smoke. She slides the button across the gouge again and again until the motion makes sense in her bones. The clicking is small and hard like teeth. She remembers the night she could not say stop. She remembers the morning after when her mother poured cool lye water over her wrists and said, "Keep your hands steady, girl." Soft hands lie. She kept them steady. She did not lie. She lived. "Where did you find that piece?" the man asks. "It found me." Things do not find. They are sent. "Then tell me who sent it." The silence says the name without saying it. It rolls in the rafters, sits in the pot, hangs in the web near the door. She feels it set on her like a weight she will carry, and then drop in front of people who pretend it is not theirs. She takes the button off the table and holds it in her mouth so her hands are free. She reaches under the lip of the board. The underside is rough and cold. Her fingers travel along the grain and touch an old nail head, bent flat. She pries it up. A splinter lodges under her nail and throbs. She does not stop. She finds nothing else. She sets the button back down. "Enough," the man says. "Go sleep." "Not tired. You will be." "I have been tired for years." The night lays one palm on the tin roof. A small wind walks the cracks. Something skitters behind the jugs. She picks up the paddle and sets its worn end in the pot. She does not stir. Her arms remember the old circle. She sets the paddle back. "Go on then," she tells the room. "Finish your speech." No one answers. Good. She is done listening. She lays her cut palm on the gouge. The wood drinks a little more of her. The button sits beside like an eye. She drags 2 fingers along the groove and stops when she catches on something rough. Her fingers trace the gouge. A loose board shifts under her weight, lifting on a breath of cool earth. The board rises slow under her weight, dry nails whispering against their holes. She crouches and presses her hand flat, breath short. The wood gives another sigh, then settles. She hooks her fingers into the seam and pulls. Dust spills into the air. The smell that comes up is not dust, not soil. It is paper, paper that has waited too long. She pushes harder until the board lifts and leans it against the table. Inside the hollow is a bundle, cloth dark with mildew. She reaches down, skin crawling, and draws it out. It drips faintly, as if the earth has been feeding it. She sets it on the table. Her hands shake. She does not want to open it, but does anyway. Beneath the layers of damp cloth lies a ledger, pages fat with water, corners curled. The ink is still sharp enough. Neat lines, names and numbers, dates pressed in like stamps. She flips through, faster then slower. Each page is a stone she cannot move off her chest. Beside it, deeper in the hole, another thing waits. Smaller, heavier, oilcloth knotted at the corners. She unravels it and finds a badge. Tarnished, dented, and missing its button. Her stomach clenches. She sets it beside the ledger. Her bloody button rolls close like it knows where it belongs. "Read it." The voice is behind her, inside her. She cannot tell. "I am." Out loud. She clears her throat, forces the sound. Huntley, Tolliver, Night Run, Creekmouth. You know those names. Her jaw locks. I know what they took. The words taste like soap lye. She keeps flipping. Pages of names, men, women, marks for who was paid, who was silenced, who was carried out. The ink does not fade, though the paper nearly dissolves in her grip. She hears her mother's voice saying, "Soft hands lie." She hears her father's boots leaving and never coming back. She hears the sheriff in her parlor, hat on his knee, voice all sugar. She sees the governor's cousin on his porch, smile like a knife. And here they all are, in a book that lived under her floor while she learned to keep her head down. She presses her thumb to Huntley's name. The blood from her cut smears across the page, new ink on old. She wants to rip it out, eat it, burn it. Instead, she reads on. "Tolliver," she whispers. "Creekmouth." The man's voice comes back. "That was a night run. You were too young. I remember the dark. You were asleep." "No, I heard her cry." "You don't know what you heard." "I know enough." The badge winks faint under the lamp. She picks it up. It is heavier than she thought. The missing button leaves a circle scar on its face. She lays the bloody one over it. The fit is perfect. Her chest aches. "Do you see what it means?" The voice presses. "I see what you kept from me." "It kept you safe." "It kept me blind." She looks back at the ledger. The handwriting is neat. No rush, no fear. Like the man who wrote it thought the book would never leave his hand. She runs her fingers over the ink. The names rise under her touch like braille. She whispers, "How many more?" "Enough to build a county." Her throat burns. "Enough to bury it." "You can't carry this." "I already am." The button in her hand digs against the badge. The edge cuts the skin again. She doesn't stop. The blood streaks across the brass until the circle shines red. "Put it back." The voice says, "No." "You think a piece of metal makes you strong?" "It makes me loud." "You'll be crushed." "Then I'll crush with it." She drops the badge on the table, opens the ledger wider. She reads the names again. Huntley, Tolliver, Night Run, Creekmouth. The sound of her voice fills the shed, echoing against tin and timber. She feels her mother behind her, listening. She feels her father's boots at the door. She feels every woman who bent low and stayed quiet, pressing into her spine. The shed grows colder. The earth breathes up through the open hole. She presses the button into the badge one last time, aligning the threadbare shank with the circle mark. It clicks into place. The sound is sharp, final. It lands in her chest like a door slamming shut. She cannot breathe for a moment. Then she can. She looks down at the badge, whole again, blood ring drying on its face. She does not wipe it clean. She leaves it as it is. She closes the ledger, sets it beside the badge, and lays her hand over both. Her cut stings. Her palm throbs, but her grip holds steady. Read more, the voice says. Later. You won't. I will. You'll burn it. Not before they hear. Her jaw tightens. The click of the button still lives in her ear. It is not just a button. It is not just a badge. It is not just a ledger. It is all of them. Her chest feels heavy, but not hollow. She hears the night shift outside, wind moving slow over dirt, a dog calling in the distance. She hears the world waiting. She knows where she has to take this weight. She knows who has to see it. She runs her fingers over the closed book again. The edges are soft with rot, but the names inside are carved deeper than time. She snaps the badge upright, presses it against her chest where her heart drums hard. The button holds. The sound of that lock still rings in her bones. It sounds like a cell door closing in her chest. The badge feels heavy against her ribs as she climbs the hill. The path cuts through brush, stones shifting under her boots. The air thins and grows still. The kind of stillness that comes when land knows who owns it. At the top, the house waits. Wide porch, white pillars, roof line high enough to cast a shadow like judgment. No need for a sign. Old money doesn't say its name. It doesn't have to. The steps creak under her weight. She keeps her shoulders square, hand on the badge in her pocket. A door opens before she reaches it. A man steps out, lean, pressed, hair combed back so neat it looks pinned. His smile shows teeth, sharp and perfect. Well, he says, voice like warm syrup poured too slow. You're bold. She plants herself at the base of the steps. I'm busy. He leans on the rail, looks her over. Most folks knock. Most folks ain't me. His smile spreads thinner, like a knife's edge. That badge you've got. His eyes flick quick to her pocket. That's county property. She pulls it slow, sets it on the rail between them. The metal glints dull in the porch light. So am I, apparently. His fingers twitch, but don't reach. He watches it like it might bite. Where'd you dig that up? Where you left it. He chuckles low and without humor. You should have buried it again. She shrugs. What do you want? What's owed? The smile cracks, just a fraction. His jaw ticks before it smooths again. He steps closer, the boards not daring to groan under him. You think you can walk up here and name debts? I don't have to name them. She taps the ledger tucked under her arm. They wrote themselves. His eyes flick down, then back. For the first time, his smile fades. You don't understand what you're playing with. Looks like paper and brass to me. Looks like fire. Then maybe it needs burning. He leans down, voice softer, cutting closer. You know what happens to girls who try to stir the ashes? They clean. No, they choke. She doesn't blink. Then let's see who coughs first. The porch light buzzes. A moth slaps against the glass, frantic. Neither of them moves. You can't carry this, he says finally. Too heavy for your shoulders. I've been carrying it since the day she screamed. His gaze sharpens. Careful. Make me careful. He laughs, but the sound is thin now. He glances toward the door, toward the shadow behind the screen. A man stands there, broad, silent, waiting. You walk out of here with that, the cousin says, nodding to the badge. And you'll be hunted. Already am. You'll end up face down in the creek. Then you'll see me every time you drink. He presses his hand to the rail near the badge, but doesn't touch it. His knuckles whiten. You want money. I want names. You've got them. I want them heard. His mouth hardens. You think anyone in town will listen? They'll listen to fear. His eyes flicker, the mask slipping. There it is. Small, raw, true. Fear. He pulls back his hand, quick, as if the badge burned. You don't know what you've done, he says. She lifts the badge, tucks it back against her chest. I know what you've seen. His man steps from the doorway, filling the frame. Broad chest, arms crossed. She doesn't flinch. The cousin straightens, smile snapping back into place, but it doesn't reach his eyes. Best walk on now. Sun's setting. She nods once, slow. Best believe I'm not done. She turns, steps down the porch, boots loud on the wood. Behind her, the cousin doesn't follow. He just stands there, hand still on the rail where the badge sat, eyes narrowed like the light hurt them. The man blocks the door as she passes the steps. She doesn't look at him. She doesn't need to. She's already got what she came for. The badge presses hard against her chest, but what she carries out isn't brass. It's the sound of his fear, small and true. The church stands on the rise like it always has, white paint peeling, bell tower leaning just enough to look tired. She doesn't climb the front steps where folks file in Sundays. She circles around back, past the kitchen door, down the cracked stairs that lead to the basement. The rumor pointed here. Women's voices murmur below, steady, like water running under stone. The air grows damp as she descends. She pushes the door and finds them. Half a dozen women at folding tables, cloth spread wide, needles quick, quilts in progress, squares cut and stacked, hands moving even as lips whisper prayer. No one looks up right away. The preacher stands near the furnace, Bible in hand. He sees her first. His smile is thin, cautious. Child, sit. Her hand stays on the badge in her pocket. I'm not a child. One of the women glances up, needle paused. The preacher clears his throat. Your mama would. She cuts him off sharp. Finish that and I walk. The thread snaps between the woman's fingers. The room stills. The preacher closes his Bible halfway, finger holding place. We're only helping. Then say his name. The silence tightens. Eyes lower. Needles don't move. The preacher shakes his head. Forgiveness first. No. His voice softens, practiced. It frees you. It chains me. You don't understand. I understand too much. One woman folds a square, slow, sets it aside. Another coughs into her sleeve. The preacher sighs heavy, turns a page in the book he hasn't read. Your mama came here, he says. She grips the badge. I know. She prayed here. She bled here. Don't twist her memory. Don't bury it. He steps closer, voice lowering like he's about to share a secret. She wanted peace. She wanted truth. She knew truth would break her. Then maybe breaking was cleaner than lying. The room holds the words. A quilt square slips from one woman's lap to the floor. No one picks it up. The preacher's eyes narrow. What do you carry in your hand? Not yours to hold. Show us. She pulls it slow, lays the badge on the nearest table. The brass is dull, button dark with her blood, dried now into a rust ring. The women stare. The preacher's lips press thin. That is county property, he says. So am I, apparently. His jaw tightens. This will only bring ruin. Already did. You think you found proof? I know I have. He points at the quilt squares, stacked neat. We stitch because it mends, because it covers. She leans close. Because it hides. He bristles. You watch your tongue. You watch your hands. You accuse a man of God? I accuse a man with blood on his button. Gasps flutter. One of the women whispers a name under her breath, too low to catch. The preacher snaps his head toward her, glare sharp. She drops her eyes. He turns back. You don't know what you're saying. I read it. What did you read? The ledger under the floor. The room stiffens. Quilts freeze mid-fold. The preacher's voice rises. That book was destroyed. No, it was hidden by men like you. His hand trembles against his Bible. You can't know what those pages mean. They mean graves, lies, names. He lifts the book high. God forgives all names. She points to the badge. Then let him say them out loud. No one moves. The furnace hums. A woman sniffles, wipes her nose on her sleeve. The preacher lowers the Bible, eyes dark now. You will destroy this town, he says. This town already destroyed itself. You'll burn with it. Then light the match. The preacher slams the Bible shut, the echo sharp in the basement. Enough. She doesn't flinch. Say his name. He looks to the women. Searching for help. None meet his eyes. He turns back. You want to tear down pillars older than you. For what? A piece of metal. A book of lies. For my mother. His face hardens. Your mother sinned. Her voice breaks sharp. My mother lived. She strayed. She was taken. She was weak. She was stronger than you'll ever be. The words crack the room open. The women shift, eyes finally rising. One sets her needle down. Another folds her hands. The preacher sees it. His voice grows desperate. She chose silence. She was forced. She stayed. She couldn't leave. She prayed. She screamed. The basement rings with the clash, each line harder, sharper. He pants, sweat on his temple. She stands straight, badge gleaming dull on the table. At last, one of the women speaks. Her voice is low but steady. She screamed. The preacher rounds on her. Quiet. The woman does not look away. We heard her. Another woman lifts her head. We stitched while she screamed. The preacher slams his fist on the table. Stop. The badge rattles. The girl picks it up, holds it tight. Say his name. The preacher stares, breath heavy. Say it. He shakes his head. Say it. He looks at the women, at their eyes finally on him. He opens his mouth, but nothing comes. His jaw works, silent. She steps closer, badge raised. Say Huntley, say Tolliver. His lips part, sound trapped. The silence is louder than any sermon. The women watch. One by one, their needles drop, tiny clicks on the floor. She lays the badge down in the center of the quilt square spread on the table. The brass catches the weak light. Blood rings still dark. The women fall silent. One woman nods, just once, toward a door no one uses. The nod is small, but it cuts through the room, sharper than the preacher's shouts. The women keep their hands folded now, their needles on the floor like bones left behind. She follows their gaze to the far wall. The door sits low, half hidden by an old quilt rack. Wood swollen with damp, hinges rusted brown. A door no one mentions, no one uses. Her breath steadies. She picks up the badge, tucks it tight against her chest, and walks across the basement. The preacher mutters, half prayer, half threat. Leave it shut. Leave it sealed. She grips the handle. It resists at first, stiff with years. She leans in, shoulder-braced, until it gives with a groan that sounds like it's mourning. The smell rises at once. Damp stone, old soap, river silt. She coughs against it but doesn't close the door. A narrow stair waits, sinking down, steps chipped and slick. She lifts the lamp from the table and holds it out. The light shakes in her hand. The preacher shouts, "Don't go down there." She looks back, voice steady. Then why build the stairs? The women do not stop her. Some bow their heads. Some just watch. The preacher grips his Bible tight, but does not move closer. She steps onto the first stair. The door shuts behind her with a click like a lock sliding home. The air cools the deeper she goes. Each step damp, each echo hollow. The lamp flame bends under a breath that feels like it's coming up from the earth. Her cut hand throbs with every pulse. She presses the badge to her ribs to steady herself. At the bottom, the narrow stair opens into a low room carved from stone. The lamp spills light across shelves lining every wall, jars, dozens of them, some cloudy with age, some clear. Inside, things that should not be kept, pins, locks of hair, teeth, buttons, rusted coins, wedding rings dulled black, each sealed tight, cataloged grief in glass. Her throat tightens. She steps closer. The shelves smell of lye and mildew. She runs her fingers along one jar. Inside, a strand of blonde hair coiled like a snake. Another holds 2 pins crossed, tips rusting. Another, 3 small teeth, child-sized. She recoils. Behind her, the preacher's voice drifts down the stair, faint but firm. "You see it now?" She answers without looking back. "I see what you saved." The voice is lower now, almost tired. Saved ain't the word. Her hand shakes over the jars. What is? Proof. For who? For when the men pretend. She turns. Lamp high, but the preacher isn't there. Only his voice clings to the stone. She steps deeper into the room. On the far wall, an empty ring of dust marks where a jar once sat. The shape is exact, circle clear. She kneels, lamp close. The space is clean except for the faint groove left by glass pressed over years. Her hand goes to her coat pocket. The button. The weight of it matches the hollow perfectly. Her breath stumbles. She whispers, "This was hers." The voice answers, soft as the hiss of lye poured into water. "And yours." Her knees dig into the cold floor. She pulls out the button, holds it up. The dried blood ring gleams dark. It could slide into the empty place, fit like it was meant. She doesn't set it down. She grips it hard instead. You think jars keep the truth? She asks. They keep memory. They keep silence. They keep the lie from winning. Her voice cracks. The lie already won. The lamp flame shivers. The shelves seem to breathe. Dozens of jars staring with blind eyes, each holding a story no one was allowed to speak. She lifts one at random. A button inside, blue enamel chipped, thread still clinging. She sets it back quick, hand trembling. You built this, she whispers. We built what men wouldn't. You made a graveyard in jars. We made proof. She looks again at the empty ring on the shelf. The ache in her chest grows. And when proof sits too long, it rots. Not if someone carries it. She stands, clutching the button, lamp high. She walks the row slow, eyes catching on each relic, a necklace chain knotted tight, a slip of paper with 3 words blurred into nothing, a bent wedding band. And, again, more buttons, each a mouth that never spoke. Her stomach churns. She thinks of her mother stirring the soap, steady paddle circling, of hands scarred from burns that never healed, of screams carried off by night and folded away by morning. She thinks of herself, the night she pressed her nails into her palms to feel anything but him. She whispers to the shelves, "Why keep all this?" The voice answers from nowhere and everywhere, because they said it never happened. Her breath shakes. It happened. And now you know. Her eyes fall on a stack of index cards at the end of the shelf, each one marked with a name in careful script. She picks one up. Huntley, another. Tolliver. She grips them both tight. The preacher's voice drifts again, harsher now. Put them back. She snarls, louder than she thought possible. No. The shelves hum with silence. You'll tear the town apart, the voice says. Good. You'll make widows of widows. They already are. You'll burn everything. Then let it burn. Her breath comes ragged. She tucks the badge into her coat, the button pressing against it like it belongs there. She slides the 2 index cards into her pocket, close to her skin. She looks again at the empty shelf. She doesn't fill it. She doesn't put the button down. Instead, she lifts the lamp, steps backward toward the stair. You can't carry all of it, the voice warns. I only need enough. And what will you do with it? She breathes deep, air thick with soap and rot. Make them speak. The flame quivers but holds. She turns her back on the shelves. The jars seem to watch her climb. One creaks against another as if shifting, like bones knocking together. The stair rises steep and narrow, every step slick. Her heart pounds against the badge. At the top, the door waits, swollen wood pressing inward. She sets the lamp on the stair, pushes with her shoulder until it creaks open. The basement air rushes in, warmer, though no less heavy. The women are still there, seated silent, quilts in their laps. The preacher stands stiff by the furnace, face pale, sweat shining at his hairline. He says nothing. She steps into the room, door shutting behind her with a dull thud. She holds their eyes one by one. None look away. She pulls the badge from her coat, lays it flat on the quilt square, spread across the table. The women stare at the blood ring around its button, at the weight it carries now. Then she reaches into her coat again, draws the index card, lays it beside. 2 names written clear, Huntley, Tolliver. The women see. The preacher sees. The truth sits on the fabric, heavier than stone. She doesn't wait for blessing or curse. She doesn't wait for prayers. She picks up the badge again, slides the card back into her pocket. Without another word, she turns toward the basement stairs. The door at her back stays closed. She climbs into the night. The air outside tastes of rain and smoke. The sawmill is nothing but ribs now, timbers collapsed, boards rotting into earth. The wheel that once churned the creek lies cracked in weeds. She follows the sound of frogs until the clearing opens, and there it is, the old well. Stones ring it, scorched black from fires they always called accidents. Grass won't grow near. The smell of ash lingers even though the fire was years ago. She steps close, fingers brushing the stones. They're warm, though the night is cool. The rope winch is new, too new. Oak beam polished, crank greased, rope fresh and stiff. She grips it and pulls. The spool creaks like it's waiting. She leans over the mouth. Nothing but dark. She spits, waits. No sound. Then, Metal. A coin strikes water that isn't there. The echo runs sharp, too shallow. Her hand tightens on the badge in her coat. She lowers the lantern, arm trembling. Light spills down, touching slick stone, then vanishing. She lowers further. Shadows bend. Cloth drifts below, pale, floating like a flag. Her breath catches. A voice drifts behind her. "You're not going down." She doesn't turn. "I already am." "You'll slip." "Catch me then." The air thickens. She keeps the lantern steady. The cloth shifts like something stirred it. "What's down there?" She answers quiet, almost to herself. "Promises." The rope creaks under her hand. She ties the lantern to it, lowering it slow. The flame rocks, throwing quick shapes against the shaft walls. She sees grooves in the stone, handholds worn deep. Not the first descent, not the last. Boots crunch behind her. She doesn't look. She knows the sound. Sheriff Huntley's stride, slow, measured. "You're digging where you don't belong," he says. She grips the rope tighter. "You belong here more than me." "You don't understand what you'll stir." She glances back. His hat shadow hides his eyes. "Then explain." He doesn't. He just watches. She sets her foot on the first stone ledge inside the shaft. Damp slicks her boot sole. Her breath shudders. "You're not going," he says again. She lowers herself one more step. "Already am." The lantern sways. Light glances off something metal below. "You'll die in there." She steadies her grip. "Then bury me with what you hid." The sheriff takes one step closer. "Climb out." "No." "You're shaking." She forces her boot to the next stone. "Catch me then." He doesn't move. The shaft breathes cold up her face. Stones sweat against her palms. She keeps lowering, counting breaths. 1, 2, 3. The voice follows her down. "What do you think you'll find?" She swallows. "What you promised her you'd never let anyone see." The lantern light catches the cloth again. Pale, frayed, edged with red. It drifts in the draft like it wants her hand. "You touch that," the sheriff calls, "and it's your ruin." "You mean yours." "Don't be foolish." She slips slightly, boot scraping, stone slick. She grips harder. "See?" he shouts. "You'll slip." "Then watch me climb back." "Stubborn girl." Wrong again. The lantern steadies. The cloth sways. She sees now it's not just cloth. It's a shirt, torn from the shoulder, buttons missing. Her stomach knots. She presses harder down the stones. The sheriff's voice grows sharp, echoing down. "Come back up." She laughs once, bitter. "If you wanted me up, you wouldn't have built the rope fresh." Silence above. He doesn't answer. She lowers another step. Her breath keeps count, each inhale sharp, each exhale heavier. The badge in her coat feels like it's dragging her down. "Say her name," she whispers to the cloth. The well answers with dripping water, slow and hollow. The rope creaks. She looks up. Huntley grips the beam now, hand on the crank. He could reel her up or let her fall. His voice drops low. "A warning. Don't force me." "You already did." Her boot lands on a wider stone. She steadies. The lantern swings close enough to light more. The shirt snagged on an iron spike. Below it, more shapes. Cloth. Wood. A buckle that flashes. Her breath stumbles. "You kept her here," she says. "No." "You did." "It wasn't me." "Ledger says different." "You don't know what you're reading." "I know enough." She lowers further. The lantern flame spits, smoke rising into her face. She coughs, hand slipping, then catching again. The sheriff grips the crank tighter. "Climb out before I haul you out. You'll have to come down yourself." "I will." "Then do it." He doesn't move. Her boots scrape again. She reaches lower, nearly close enough to touch the shirt. The fabric floats against the shaft wall, soft, rotted, but still holding. "What's down there?" His voice echoes. She whispers it back. "Promises." The flame dances wild, throwing her shadow long against the stone. The shirt brushes her fingers. It tears slightly, threads drifting away like smoke. Above, the rope groans, the beam shifting. Huntley's boots scuff as he braces. "You're going to break yourself," he says. "Better broken than bent." She clutches the fabric. Threads snap, soft and final. She pulls it close, presses it to her chest. It smells of ash and river water. The voice rises sharper now. "You don't know whose it was." "I do." "You think so." "I know so." Silence. She keeps climbing lower, lamp swaying. More cloth appears, scraps snagged on stone, each one whispering a different name. She sees them all. Then, deep, low, a sound rolls up the shaft. Not echo, not drip. A voice. It says her name. Not soft, not kind. It says it like a prayer gone wrong. Her breath stops. The lantern sways harder, light breaking across the shaft walls. She presses her back against stone, cloth clutched, heart hammering. Above, Huntley stiffens, hands frozen on the crank. He heard it too. The voice rises again, carrying her name higher, sharper, cracked with grief. She grips the badge through her coat. "I'm here." The voice doesn't answer. It just breathes. Lantern swinging, she descends. Boots on wet stones, breath counting, down into the dark that knows her name. The voice fades into the stone, leaving only her breath and the swing of the lantern. She presses her boot lower, stone slick beneath it. The shirt clings damp against her chest. The flame flares again, showing the bottom now only feet away. Her boots hit soft earth. Water seeps cold through the soles. She raises the lantern high. The chamber is small, walls sweating, the well narrowing to a pit. No body waits, no bones, only scraps of cloth pinned in cracks, wood splinters, and stone. Then she sees it. Near the base, a pocket torn from a shirt, stitched wrong side out. The thread glistens dark, rusty. The letters are crooked, jagged, pricked through cloth by fingers desperate, bleeding. She bends closer. The words crawl across the fabric in red. Keep quiet. Her chest caves, breath stuck. She touches the stitches. They're stiff, hardened with blood. Not ink, not thread alone. Flesh and fear sewn into words. She whispers, "No." The well answers with silence. She yanks the pocket free, cloth tearing. She holds it to the lantern. Every letter shows clear. Keep quiet. The words scream louder than any voice. She lifts her chin, calls upward. "You see this?" No answer. "Do you see it?" Only the rope creaks. Her throat burns. She shoves the cloth between her teeth, ties the lantern strap to her wrist, and starts the climb. Fury fills her hands, gripping stone, pulling hard. She bites the pocket to keep it near, taste of iron spreading. Halfway up, a voice comes down. Sheriff Huntley's, low and sharp. "What did you find?" She spits the cloth into her hand. A message. "What kind?" She presses it flat against the stone. "Words you don't want read." "Read them." "Keep quiet." The rope groans. He doesn't speak for a moment. Then, "Who wrote that?" She keeps climbing, hands slipping on wet stone. "Men who don't sew." Then who bled it? Her breath rasps. Someone they thought would never speak. He shifts above, boots scuffing the wood. "You don't understand what you're saying," she growls. "I understand everything you hid." "Ruth!" Her voice snaps sharp as stone breaking. "Don't call me that." Silence falls again. The rain outside begins, faint at first, drops sliding through cracks, pattering into the shaft. She climbs higher. The lantern swings, throwing quick shadows. Her muscles ache. Her cut palm stings with each grip. But she keeps going. The pocket is clamped in her teeth again, cloth rough on her tongue. She tastes the blood of the one who stitched it. She carries that voice with her now, word by word, letter by letter. The higher she climbs, the louder the rain grows. Water drips down, slicking the stones, running cold into her sleeves. The shaft breathes damp and heavy. She grips harder, fury driving her arms. She climbs as if dragging the whole well behind her. Her mind races. The ledger, the badge, the button. Now this, proof stitched into cloth, hidden where only stone could keep it. All pieces of the same silence, all screaming now in her hands. "Don't bring it out." Huntley calls down. She laughs once, bitter. "It's already out. You'll regret it." "I regret nothing but waiting this long." The rope creaks again. His voice rises. "You think the women will stand with you?" "They won't. They never do." Her teeth clench on the cloth. She pulls herself another step. Another. The lantern bangs against stone, spilling sparks of light. She doesn't slow. The voice softens, almost pleading. "Don't make me your enemy. You made yourself." The shaft narrows, the top now visible, gray sky cut with rain. Huntley's shadow stretched across the mouth. Another pair of shadows joins, then another. She freezes. Deputies. He brought them. She spits the cloth out, shouts up, "You brought company!" "They're here to help you out," Huntley calls. Her voice spits fire back. "They're here to bury me." The rain patters harder. Water drips into her eyes. She wipes it away, pocket clenched in one hand. The lantern flickers, nearly out. She climbs the last stretch fast, fury pushing through the ache. Every breath sharp, every grip desperate. At the top, the rim comes close, rain slicking the stones black. She hears boots shift, a cough, the sound of hands on rifles. The cloth in her palm feels alive, burning. The words pulse. "Keep quiet." She clenches it tighter. Her head rises above the rim. She sees them clearly now. Huntley standing with hat low. Two deputies flanking, coats dark with rain, rifles loose in their hands. She drags herself up, breath ragged, lantern swaying. She spits mud from her mouth, hair plastered to her face. The pocket of cloth is still in her grip, blood letters clear even in the rain. The deputies watch her. Huntley does not move. She stands at last on the slick stones, chest heaving, water running down her coat. The cloth in one hand, the badge pressed to her ribs in the other. The rain pearls on their sleeves. They wait. She stands on the rim of the well, rain ticking off her coat, the pocket of cloth clenched in her fist. The lantern dangles from her wrist, flame guttering. Sheriff Huntley watches from 3 paces off, 2 deputies loose at his shoulders, rifles low, eyes unreadable. Water pearls on their sleeves and slides into the mud that rings the stones. She takes one breath, then another, and steps forward until her boots sink. She pulls the badge from her coat and lets it fall. It lands in the mud between them with a dull, thick sound, the blood-dark ring around its button catching a slice of gray light. The ledger page shows under her lapel, a corner gone soft with damp. He sees everything. His jaw shifts. "Let me handle this." "You had your years. You don't know the cost. I'm the cost." Rain hisses on the oak beam above the well. The deputies trade a look, but don't lift their guns. Huntley eases one boot forward, like he's approaching a skittish colt. "Careful now." "Make me careful." He tips his hat back, soft voice laid thick, the way he always lays it. "You're wet through, Ruth. Come inside. Get warm." "We'll talk." "Don't call me that." She lifts the cloth pocket, letters stiff with dried blood. "Read it." He doesn't. "Where'd you find that?" "Where you left it." "Not me." Ledger says otherwise. Lightning flickers somewhere beyond the ridge. The sound arrives late, a deep roll that shakes water from leaves. Huntley swallows it like a thing he can pocket. "Put the badge back in your coat," he says. "We'll walk together, quiet." She laughs once short. "You mean silent?" "Same thing tonight." "Not anymore." One deputy shifts, boots sucking at the mud. "Sheriff, it's getting slick." Huntley keeps his eyes on her. "Nobody's here to hurt you." "You already did." "Not me." "You keep saying that." He nods at the pocket. "Whose hand bled it?" "Someone you thought would never speak." He takes another small step. "Let me see." She holds the cloth out until he reaches, then pulls it back. "Say her name." His face closes. "We don't do this in the rain. We do it where it happened. We don't do it at all." She breathes in the creek stink and ash. The ledger page rubs against her ribs with every breath like a small trapped wing. She wants to pull it, to make him read in the wet. She wants him to see his own ink run. "You're shaking," he says. "Good. Means I'm alive." "You're not thinking clear. I'm thinking simple. That simple'll get you killed. Then you'll have to write me down too." He looks at the badge on the ground. The mud has taken it halfway. The blood ring around the button holds like a bruise in metal. He drags his heel, like he might nudge it back to her, like he might mash it deeper. "You bring that to town," he says, "and men will do things you can't take back. They already did things I can't take back." Lightning again. The deputies flinch. Huntley doesn't. He keeps talking soft. "You think that book makes you fireproof. It doesn't. It just paints a target on your chest." She steps closer. Their breath mixes in the wet air. "Then aim right here." He studies her face a long beat. Rain laces his lashes. "You want me to say I'm sorry, that it was wrong, that it never should have happened." "I want you to say who." "I can't." "You won't." "Same thing now." "Not to me." The deputy on the left clears his throat. "Sheriff, sirens." Faint at first, whining far down the road, getting louder. The other deputy leans into the wind. "Truck too. Huntley's eyes flick once toward the trees, back to her. He lowers his voice. You put that badge back in your pocket. You put that page back on the shelf. You give me that cloth. I will make this quiet. I will keep you safe. You can't keep anything safe. Try me. I did. Once. He blinks. The rain makes a veil between them. She feels the old night crack open, the smell of tobacco and soap, the press of wool. She hears herself failing to breathe. She hears his voice, patient and wrong, calm as a palm over a mouth. She doesn't step back. You were there. His eyes harden. Don't. You were. Think real careful. I did for years. He exhales, long and heavy, the sound a tired gait. You're angry at the wrong man. I'm angry at all of you. That's too many to carry. I brought a ledger. He moves his hand a fraction as if he could will the page from her coat. You can't read what that book really says. I read every line that matters. You don't know the codes. I know the names. And if a jury doesn't believe you, I'll let the town hear anyway. Then you'll watch it split. It was split when I was 12. The deputies shift again. One wipes rain from his mouth. The sirens thicken closer now, bouncing off the trees. The truck's growl rises slow, steady as a patient animal. Huntley lowers his gaze to the badge again. Pick it up. Show respect. She meets his eyes. For what? For the office. The office that told me to keep quiet. That office holds this place together. It held me down. The thin line of his mouth softens just for a heartbeat, like something human once through. I didn't know. You knew. I didn't. You signed it. He flinches. Then the softness is gone. You're putting yourself in a place you don't understand. I live here. You survive here because I make sure you do. You survive here because I didn't speak. The wind swings the lantern, light strobing across faces and rain. The badge gleams, then dulls. She feels the weight of the page, the weight of the cloth, the weight of the word that tried to bury her. She feels how light she will be without it. Last time, he says, let me handle this. You had your years. He sets his jaw. You don't know the cost. I'm the cost. Careful now. Make me careful. He reaches, slow, open hand, palm up like a peace offering. She opens her fist and shows the pocketed words again. He freezes, as if the blood letters could leap, as if they could stain him through the rain. She drops the cloth beside the badge. It slaps the mud and lies still. The words filling with water, red turning thin and new. He stares at both. He takes a breath like a man about to kneel and can't. The deputies square their shoulders, trying to look larger than their fear. Mud sucks at everyone's boots. She lifts her chin, letting the rain wash her eyes clean. The well breathes behind her like a throat about to speak. She doesn't blink. She won't bend. Not this time. Sirens cry far off. A truck engine answers close. Headlights rake the trees and settle right on her face. The sirens fade as the truck's growl fills the clearing, low and steady. Headlights rake the trees, catching every droplet, painting the rain silver. They settle on her face, making her blink but not step back. Sheriff Huntley doesn't move. His deputies shift but keep their rifles low. The truck door groans open. A boot touches mud, clean, untouched by the storm. Then another. He steps down like the ground itself makes room for him. The governor's cousin. Coat pressed, hat sharp, hair dry despite the rain. He smiles as if the weather bends around him. He looks at her first, not Huntley, not the deputies. His voice rolls smooth, practiced. Evening, Ruth. Her jaw tightens. Don't call me that. He tilts his head, smile spreading. Your mother always hated the rain, said it soured the soap. You're her spit. The words hit like cold steel. Her grip on the badge hardens. You made a mistake. He chuckles, boots still spotless. Only one? Enlighten me. I make soap. You made graves. The air stills. Even the deputies look away. Huntley shifts, hat brim low, but doesn't speak. The cousin steps closer. Rain sliding from the brim of his hat, but never touching his face. You're playing with dangerous things, girl. Ledgers, buttons, badges. None of that belongs to you. They belong to her. Dead women don't own anything. Then why are you here? His smile flickers. To stop you before you drown yourself. She raises her chin. You want money? He shrugs, casual. I can make that happen. Enough to buy this whole hill twice. I want names. His eyes sharpen, no smile now. Careful what you ask for. I already asked. You'll drown in this. She takes one step forward, mud sucking at her boots. I was born in lie. The silence after cracks wide. Rain thickens, drumming on the stones. Huntley finally lifts his head, watching both like a man who knows he's already lost either way. The cousin studies her, eyes narrow. You think the town will follow you. They'll spit you out, same as they did her. They'll hear me first. He exhales slow, shaking his head like he pities her. You're brave. Foolish, but brave. Bravery dies quick. She lifts the cloth pocket again, letters dark, blurred by rain. This says otherwise. His jaw ticks. He steps closer, boots still clean. You think scraps of thread mean anything. They mean more than you. You're loud now, he says, soft. But when the ground takes you, you'll be quiet again. And quiet is where you belong. Her voice doesn't waver. Quiet is where you kept her. Not me. Huntley mutters low, almost to himself. Enough. But no one stops. The cousin sighs. I should have ended this years ago. You tried. I succeeded. Then why am I standing here? The words strike him. For the first time, his eyes falter. His smile tries to return but doesn't fit. You can't win, he says. You already lost. The rain pounds harder, filling the pause. The deputies glance at each other, unsure. Huntley says nothing. The cousin's mouth twists, but he forces the smile back, thin and mean. He looks at her like she's a game still worth playing. You want truth? Fine. Come with me. We'll open the rest. You'll see what she left. What you shouldn't. She doesn't blink. I've seen enough. Not yet. She slips her hand into her coat. His eyes follow, expecting steel, expecting a barrel pointed at his chest, but she doesn't draw a gun. Her fingers close on something else, something small, cold, final. She pulls it slow, rain glinting off its teeth. A key. The key is small, brass dulled with years. Teeth notched deep like it was cut for only one lock. She holds it up in the rain. The cousin's smile falters. Huntley lowers his head. The deputies don't move. She turns away from them all and walks. Mud clings, water soaks, but she doesn't stop. The key swings once from her fingers, steady as a pendulum. The county building sits hollow on the hill, stone face streaked dark. No lanterns lit, no guards. No reason to guard what everyone agreed to forget. She climbs the steps slow, every rise echoing. The badge beats against her ribs, heavy with its button. The door waits. Iron lock, rust clinging. She fits the key. It slides easy. Too easy, like the tumblers had been waiting for her hand all along. She breathes once, then turns. The click is sharp, clean. Inside, the air is stale. The light hums when she flips the switch. One row at a time, buzzing awake. Fluorescents bathe the room pale. Dust drifts. Shelves line every wall, stacked with boxes, files, bags, sealed and forgotten. Evidence. The kind that never makes it to trial. Her boots echo on the tile. She moves down the aisle, fingers brushing box labels, dates decades old. Too many years of silence packed in cardboard. Behind her, footsteps. Huntley, his voice low. Don't. She doesn't stop. Watch. You'll regret this. Already did, for years. You open those shelves, you'll rip this county apart. It's already ripped. You'll put names in the dirt. They're already there. He follows, boots slower than hers, but steady. The cousin lingers in the doorway, rain dripping off his hat. He doesn't enter, but his shadow stretches long across the floor. She stops at the far shelf. A box waits. Labels smudged, but clear enough. Huntley, Tolliver, Creek Mouth, Night Run. She pulls it down. Dust puffs. Don't, Huntley says again, sharper. She sets the box on the table, opens it. Inside, neat bundles, a ledger page torn free, a strip of cloth stiff with dried blood, a photograph curled at the edges, a name card pinned to it. The cousin's voice cuts in, smooth but thin now. Close it, girl. Walk out. We'll make this right another way. She lifts the photograph. A woman's face, blurred but unmistakable. Her mother, younger, alive, eyes wide, mouth set hard, evidence sealed away so no one would ever see. She turns it toward them. This is what you buried. Neither man speaks. She lays the photo back down, takes the badge from her coat, sets it beside the box. The blood ring on its button looks almost black in the pale light. Huntley whispers, "What are you, girl?" She meets his eyes. "My mother's daughter." The cousin's jaw tightens. He steps back into the rain, leaving only his shadow shrinking on the tile. Huntley stays frozen, staring at the photo, the cloth, the badge. She doesn't wait for him to move. She lifts the button from the badge, turns, and walks to the shelf where the empty jar ring waits. She sets the button down inside it. The circle fits. The sound is small, final. She presses her palm against it, blood and all leaving her print on the shelf. Her chest loosens, breath coming easier than it has in years. Huntley mutters behind her, broken, "You'll burn us all." She doesn't turn. Maybe it's time. The lights hum. The rain beats harder outside. For the first time, she feels the air shift lighter. She closes her eyes. Breathes once, like someone who has washed a stain clean and is finally, quietly, done.